1. The perfect beginning. I want you to imagine the moment you realize everything you believed, everything you built your hopes on, might be a lie. That's where my story begins. I met Ethan 3 years ago. He was charming, attentive, and always there at the right moments. From the start, he made me feel like I mattered, something I didn't expect after heartbreaks passed. He'd text, "Good morning," send bouquet photos midday, and at night, call just to hear my voice. Every gesture felt real. I remember one evening, a gentle rain falling outside. We sat in a cozy cafe with soft lights. He reached across the table, took my hand, and said, "I want to build a future with you." My heart swelled. I believed him. We moved in together after just 8 months. A bold step, I know, but I trusted him. He was so convincing. When I walked into that apartment for the first time, I thought, this is my home. This is our life. But even then, small cracks were already forming. Tiny inconsistencies in stories, silences that lingered too long. Messages that he'd hide when my phone buzzed. I ignored them. I told myself, he's just private. He's protecting something. Still, I couldn't shake the unease. There were nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, whispering to myself, what don't I know? Then came the day I found the first clue. 2. A whisper of doubt. Everything seemed ordinary that morning. Ethan left early for a meeting. I kissed him goodbye, made coffee, and scrolled social media. Hours passed. Then a notification, check your credit card statement. I logged in, my heart skipped. A charge, expensive, unknown, in a city we'd never visited together. No explanation in his texts. I sent him a message. Hey, what's this for? He replied calmly. Oh, some business expense. I'll tell you later. Later came several hours, then a heart-hafted explanation. It was for work, but something in the tone, the hesitation, my doubts twisted sharper. I spent the day watching him, in little ways. He answered calls in another room. He jumped when I asked who was calling. He erased his browser history. At first, I pushed it away. He's innocent. I'm overthinking. But that whisper in my mind pushed me on. Look deeper. That night, after he fell asleep, I unlocked his laptop. He always forgot to log out. I scanned his email, nothing urgent, but in a hidden folder, receipts, secret bookings, hotel reservations in cities I'd never been to together. My hands trembled. I closed the laptop. I decided I would investigate, quietly, carefully. I had no idea then how far the lies would go. 3. Pieces of the puzzle. The next few weeks, I became a detective in my own life. Every message, call, and receipt was a clue. I checked credit histories, bank statements. I compared dates when he said he was out of town with hotel records I uncovered. I traced patterns. I dug into his business. Vague, always financial consulting, always remote, no office address he'd share. I created an anonymous email, sent messages to contacts I found in those secret folders, pretending to be a client. Some ghosted me, others gave half answers. I watched for mentions of his name in business forums, registrations, property documents. Then I found something. A company with his name, but under a different address, in another state. The registration was recent, minimal disclosures, but the building photos matched one of the hotels I saw in his secret folder. I confronted him, gently. Is this your company? He denied it. I can't explain everything now, but this time I held my ground. If there's nothing to hide, show me the documents. He hesitated, deflected. That night, I watched him from the balcony. I listened for calls. I felt fear and adrenaline mix. I realized he was living a dual life. One side with me, the other hidden. Profit, secrets, lies. And then the betrayal would cut deeper than I could ever prepare for. 4. The first betrayal. On the surface, our life looked perfect. We laughed, cooked together, planned trips, talked dreams. He seemed so loving, but behind closed doors, his secrets grew. One afternoon, I received an envelope. Inside, a letter addressed to Ethan Major in elegant script. It referenced a business deal gone wrong, threats and payments demanded, debts owed. The sender warned of exposure unless certain conditions were met. My pulse raced. Was he in danger, or was he playing dangerous games? Inside the same envelope, photos. Ethan with a woman I didn't know, arms entwined, in a lovely restaurant. They looked intimate. He looked happy. Not a random encounter. Something deep. I confronted him that night, showing him the photos. He froze, denied first, then stuttered. It's not what it looks like. I demanded truth. His silence was loud. He admitted she was a, quote, business associate. Nothing more. But his voice cracked. Answers were vague. Later, I found messages between them. Affectionate, inside jokes, calls at odd hours. The betrayal hit like a storm. My heart shattered. I whispered, how could he lie to me for years? But I clung to one thing. I deserved truth. I packed the photos, the letters. I knew then I couldn't simply walk away. Not until I exposed everything. 5. The plan forms. I had two choices. Leave quietly and mourn in silence, or fight, expose the lies for all to see. I chose war. But not a childish vendetta. I planned carefully. First, collect undeniable proof. Emails, recorded calls, bank statements tied to his hidden company, those receipts, photos, confessions. Second, build an audience. If I revealed this to just him, it would matter less. The world had to see it. Third, decide when and how. I couldn't act rashly. He might disappear, delete, hide. I needed timing, leverage, safety nets. I started by copying and securing all files, every encrypted folder, every secret email. I created backups under different names, cloud accounts he'd never suspect. I planted small doubts publicly, vague hints to mutual friends, enough to unsettle him, but not enough to tip him off. I watched his reactions. I reached out to some anonymous journalists and bloggers and whispers. I teased there was a major story, without naming. All this while, I kept living life, keeping our apartment, acting normal, staying close enough so he wouldn't suspect I'd broken inside. Inside, I burned with purpose. You hurt me. You lied. Now it's time you pay. In truth. 6. Clues, confrontations, and cracks. As I moved forward, the tension grew. He became jumpy. He started questioning me. Why did your phone stay unlocked? Why did you ask that question? I deflected, masterfully. One evening, I baited him. I messaged that I heard from someone the hidden company was about to collapse. In his eyes, panic flickered. He asked, "Who told you?" But I said, "Just rumors." I pushed further. I followed him when he said he had meetings, trailed him to unfamiliar addresses, snapped photos of him entering obscure buildings. He saw me once. I pretended to be in deep thought, looking at my phone. I gained more proof. Invoices under fake names, money transfers from shell corporations, hidden bank accounts. He was funneling money through layers so deep that even I almost lost track. One night as he slept, I recorded a phone call he made with content that tied him tightly to his lies. Discussions of payments, cover-ups, secrets. The file was chilling. Now I had the ammunition. I also had a psychological weapon. If he felt I was closing in, he might make mistakes. He did. Mistake after mistake. A call answered too quickly. A text not deleted. A misstep in his compartment. I watched, waited. Then came the confrontation I'd longed for. 8. The exposure. The next day, I moved. I sent the files, selectively, carefully, to journalists, bloggers, mutual friends. I didn't post everything publicly yet. I wrote a message to him. Truth will come out. I'm giving you a chance to explain to the world. Within 24 hours, articles began. Headlines: Man leads dual life, betrays partner in hidden business. I remained anonymous initially. I watched as his world cracked. Mutual friends called him. Journalists asked his version. He scrambled to spin stories, deny, deflect. I released more. Photos, recordings, proof of shell companies, messages to the woman. The scale was bigger than even I expected. In public comment sections, whispers turned to confirms. People I didn't even know reached me, offering more documents. He tried to respond through PR statements, claims of misunderstanding, but every lie I exposed, every truth I held, destroyed those deflections. He was on the defensive. He was shrinking. The woman in the photos, I contacted her. She